In this episode, we're talking about how to balance evergreen and timely content in your strategy. Most people think they need to balance evergreen content with timely content like it's some kind of mix, but it's actually not. This is not a balance problem. It's a strategy decision. You don't need to ask how much of each should I create. What you need to ask is what outcome do I actually want? Because evergreen content and timely content produce completely different results. They are opposites. So if you don't understand that, you'll end up building the wrong type of audience. Let's dive into this. There are really two different paths here. One is a timely content strategy. The other is an evergreen strategy, and they serve completely different purposes. If your goal is views, subscribers, ad revenue, then timely content makes a lot of sense. Trending topics, what's happening right now, what people are talking about today, that's how you go viral. But if your goal is lead generation, thought leadership, and building long-term authority, then evergreen content is what you want. This is why it's not about balance, because these strategies don't really complement each other very well. They actually pull you in different directions. So if you try to do both, you're going to dilute your positioning. And I'm not saying trending content is bad. If your goal is virality, you should absolutely pursue it. Follow people like Daryl Leaves. That's the coach for you. Build content designed to explode. But if your goal is to build authority, then trending content can actually be a distraction, because viral content, it attracts the wrong audience. You don't control who sees it. You don't control who follows you. And now your channel is filled with people who are not your ideal client. That confuses the algorithm and it weakens your positioning. Now, let's talk about evergreen content, because this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Evergreen doesn't mean that you can run ads to it forever. Evergreen means this: you publish it once, and it continues to get views, leads, and traffic years later. That's evergreen. Now, this process is actually much simpler than people think. You don't start with content, you start with questions. You find questions that your audience is already asking online, not once, not temporarily, but questions that are consistently being asked over time. Then you create a video that answers those questions. And by definition, that becomes evergreen, because people will continue to ask those questions in the future. Now, here's the test. If your content is not getting views after a few weeks, it's not evergreen. If it's not searchable, it's not evergreen. If it's not indexed by topic, it's not evergreen. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They create evergreen content and then they post it on social media. But social platforms are not built for evergreen. The content disappears. It dies after a few days. It's not indexed. It's not searchable in the same way, so it can't keep working for you. So this is why platform matters. YouTube is ideal because it's indexed, it's searchable, and it's backed by Google. So your videos show up in YouTube search, Google search, and ChatGPT. Now, a blog can work too if it's used to back up your YouTube channel. YouTube is far more powerful right now than a blog on its own. So, timely content does have a role. It's great for nurturing. If you already have an audience, you can use platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, your email, your podcast to stay relevant with that audience, to stay connected to them. But that's different from building authority. Evergreen content is what will build your brand. It's what gets you found by new people. It's what positions you as the expert in front of them, and it's what leads to category dominance. So here's the trade-off. Timely content gets attention. Evergreen content builds trust. Timely content aims at a spike. Evergreen content compounds. So the real question is this: do you want spikes or do you want consistency? Do you want views or do you want clients? Do you want attention or do you want authority? You don't need to balance these. You need to decide, because once you commit to the right strategy, everything else becomes more clear. If you want to understand how to build that kind of long-term brand visibility, go watch my episode on what are the benefits of personal branding. That's where I break down what actually matters, what builds authority, what drives results, and how all of this fits together. I'll see you there.